Tell us the story how you got number one.
Okay, let's get into it. So I commit to Florida, and I get to school now, and little off-season workouts are done, and we're about to start training camp. So T-Rob, he just asked me what number I wanted. He sent me some options. Actually, no. Yeah. So he sent me some options, and the lowest number I can get was 16
Ugh,
at the time. That was the lowest.
ugh,
Yeah. So
that looked terrible.
right. Yeah, that wasn't good. That wasn't good. Right. I was at like 28, 29, 32. So I took the lowest number I can get, and I said, "Hey, coach, I'll take 16, but if I get a pick in the first game,
Oh,
then you have to get one."
who was wearing one at the time?
Nobody on defense.
Okay,
They
all right.
haven't gave they didn't give nobody. Somebody on offense had it, but it didn't really hit the same. It
Okay.
didn't really hit the same level. But nobody on defense had it. And Muschamp told me, he was like, he was just kind of like, no, you got to. He's like, you have to earn it. And cool. So this is all training camp. Now, mind you, I just told the story about how I didn't know I was starting. I didn't know. So I made this bet with and I wasn't even starting. I wasn't even. So he looked at me. He kind of laughed. He's like, all right. Like, I looking
Right.
back on it, I see his face. He's just like, all right, yeah, I got you. Like, crazy. And so that's why that's why I told that story, because
Yeah.
I didn't know. I like me.
Right.
That's really what it was. I like me. I like myself. So cool. We get to the game, Toledo game, same game I just said. The game starts. I'm like, oh no, I'm not even playing. Like, what's going on? Right.
I'm gonna be
Cool. He
stuck
ends
in
up
16 for the rest of the
right.
season.
And I didn't even think about that. I wasn't even thinking that deep. I'm not even playing. I'm like, what's going on? Right. So we get into the game. Boom. And I got this big old joker, man. He's about 6'4". I'm like, good Lord. And this is like my first realization of like staying warm, and you have to stay loose. Like I get out there, I'm thinking I'm in high school. Let's go. Roll out of bed. Movie. Let's go. Let's go do it. Man, I get out there, I'm like, oh, I'm stiff. I'm like, oh, Jesus. I got to like do a little stretch. And I'm like, oh, Lord, I get to the sideline. I'm like, oh, geez. Whatever. Because I was covering, he was a big old joker, 6'4". He was just out there, he's kind of long, whatever. He was just running me off. Like fast. I'm like, oh, golly. I'm like, if they throw this, he's going to catch it. I'm like, Lord. But they were doing some whole other play to the other side, right? So second series comes in, and he has a real cut split this time. And in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm getting a route this time. Like, it's like a real cut split. And it ended up being like he just ran like a bang 8 on me. And I was in press coverage, though. I slid it from the inside, slid it from underneath, picked it. And when I picked it, like I couldn't really get jiggy how I wanted to. I couldn't really, so I just go down. So I just went down, so I didn't really get hit because there's some linemen coming on me. So I just get down. And when I slid, that's when it hit me. I was like, oh, I'm getting one.
Oh, yeah. He got to get up.
Yeah, and it's funny because when you watch the video, you can see my celebration. All my teammates are trying to celebrate with me, and I'm weaving them. I'm going straight to coach. I'm trying to find coach. As soon as I see him, I'm like, give me my jersey.
What did he say? What did he say on the sideline?
He's like, that's what I'm talking about. He's like, that's what I'm talking about. He didn't say nothing about the jersey though, but I told him, I was like, give me my jersey. He's like, I told you. I was like, I told you.
So let's jump into when did the picture start to take place of, okay, I'm about to be an NFL prospect, and these cats are talking like first round stuff. They're talking about early pick stuff. Like when that starts taking place, what is your thought process?
So let me tell you something funny. And so there's an aura about wearing number 1 at Florida on defense.
Okay.
Right. That's a thing. That's a thing. And now I think that tradition kind of fell off a little bit. Now they still kind of do it a little bit. Like you have to kind of earn one at Florida now, but it's not the same, right? It's not the same as it once was, right? Because if you think about the guys before me that wore one, it's crazy. Percy, you got Janoris Jenkins. I think Chris Rainey might even wore one.
Chris Rainey wore one. Yep.
Yeah, but just some guys, like guys really wore that number. So
at the same time, at Notre Dame, it's jersey 3. All right. So at jersey 3, you got to be a dude for them to put on 3, because you're talking about Montana, you're talking about Arnaz Battle, you're talking about some dudes that wear number 3. So they don't even allow it. Well, when I was there, they didn't give anybody 3 until they earned that jersey number. You had to be a guy for them to put 3 on you. But go ahead.
Right. Right, and that's kind of how it was at Florida. Like Muschamp kind of had that rolling, when I was there. Like you couldn't just get one.
Right.
So, um, what was the
So you're an NFL prospect now,
guy?
but you're not just an NFL prospect now. You're like a early pick guy. Like they talking mid first round, early first round. What's going through your head at 21 years old? Like this shit might hit, bro. I might be a first round pick.
Yeah. So okay, that now I remember what I was saying. So that aura goes around number one, right? So it's a funny thing how football works. I believe in the football gods, and it's kind of why I'm saying this story.
Mm-hmm.
So I get the jersey number, and I can't remember. I don't think I practiced in it that week. I think I still had 16.
Okay.
Right, but I think Coach said that he was like, you'll get it. He was like, you'll get it, whatever. So I wasn't really thinking about too much. I think I still practiced in 16, and we were playing Miami. We're going to Miami, and they're doing a whiteout. Right,
Okay.
this is when they had Duke Johnson, and they had who's that receiver? They had number 4, a Blazer, fast guy. Can't remember his name.
Me either.
So we're traveling to Miami, and I'm still in 16 all week in my practice jersey. So I'm like, all right, well, maybe they'll give it to me like next week. But like I said, I'm not sure. I don't really care. Like I did what I know. Coach will give it to me eventually, right? So I said the thing about the aura about number one at Florida. Everybody knows, especially defensively. We know. Like, so I told all my DB. I told them the bet I made. So they're like, oh, that's dope. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. So they all trying to figure it out. Cool. We walk into the locker room at Miami at Miami Stadium. And we walk into the locker room, and a few of the DBs were in there before me, and they just stopped sort of right in front of my locker, and they're like, no, he got number one. I hear it before I even walk into the locker room.
Oh yeah.
I hear it.
Oh yeah.
They like, oh, like my boy Poole, that's my best friend, B Poole. He's like, oh, they done gave Barn one. I'm like, I don't even see it though. So I walk around the corner, I bend the corner, I look up, boom, they got my jersey. Sitting up there, Hargreaves III with the number one on it. I'm like, oh. And I was like, this it. I was like, this it. This is it. Like, this is my freshman year. But like, I'm like, yeah. Because it was like that, the feeling that my teammates gave me, the older guys respected me. Now they were like, okay, I see you. They were like, okay, you got that one on. I see you. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, there were some guys that I really like. Dominic Easley was one of those guys who played on the defensive line. Some of the guys that I really looked up to, just how they played. Dante, my boy Poole, Marcus May, even my classmates like Keanu Neal, Nick Washington, just how they saw me and how they looked at me. They were like, yeah, and it was all like encouragement. They were like, you that, like, go be that. You know what I'm saying? And that's when I kind of grew into, I'm like, I'm number one at Florida, and this is what it's gonna be. And that's kind of where I grew into who I was, and I decided like, yeah, this is what it's gonna be. I ended up getting another pick, so it ended up helping. And that's when I was like, yeah, I'm going to the league.
That's tough. That's tough. That's a good one.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna be the best player, and I'm gonna show everybody why I'm the best player.
That's a good one. That's a good one.